right, y'all. Welcome back. Long time no talk. We just put the video out breaking down Tennessee's defense versus Oklahoma's offense, and we're gonna jump inside of this film room. And I want to get y'all's thoughts on it too, man. Just going through. I think I got close to like 30 plays in here that we can break down. I got the end zone copy this time, but just like breaking down what they like to do. You know, I'll definitely give my thoughts. But again, I do want to hear y'all's. I'm definitely going to be inside of the chat, but y'all please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And you know, this is a matchup that I know a lot of people are worried about for Tennessee. I know that there's a lot of folks that feel like our defense isn't playing well, which, I mean, look, the defense hasn't been playing well, but we do our best to try to break down what's going wrong and why. It's fixable. I think pretty much all of it is going to be fixable stuff. Some of it is going to be, some of it maybe isn't fixable, but I mean, we can be better than what we have been. I think that we can be better than what we showed over the last couple of weeks, especially with our front. Like, that's something that in this game, man, like, we have got to show that we can stop the run, that we can hold on to our gaps, and that we can rush the passer better. You know, we just haven't, I don't know what's been going on, but if we get that figured out, I really like Tennessee's chances. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this thing. I know that we started a little bit early, but sometimes, I think most of the time, we're starting late. So I try to make up for that lost time. But jumping inside of the film room, right, starting off with this scoreboard copy that's going to show you what the score is. Obviously shows you what the quarter is, shows you the down, the distance, where the football is at. Also shows you the play clock, which I definitely love that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So this first play, right, so like I said, this is going to be Oklahoma versus Ole Miss. I'm doing it because this is the most recent game that they've played. And really, man, we typically only do this type of stuff for our members. But I want to share with more people. Hopefully y'all will, you know, be members moving forward on Patreon or on YouTube. But, you know, there's a lot of people that want to know what's going on with football. They care about the X's and O's. So I'm happy to do it. You know, again, I know there's some people that are like down on, maybe we got some injuries. We talked about that with our Patreon. So let me also say that. But this is going to be in order, okay? From kind of like the first play to the last play. It's not going to be every single play. It's only like 30. But they're starting off empty. And what Ole Miss is doing on defense, it looks like cover zero. So it looks like they're showing man everywhere. But we'll go ahead and let this thing roll. All right, so the motion's coming from up top. They're blocking down. And this is like basically, you know, like a quarterback power, I guess you could call it. They had that, they have an offensive lineman pulling over. So something that I talked about earlier today was their tackles. Left tackle, 56, he's a freshman. Not great in pass protection. He's good at run blocking. And then this kid here, number 70, he's a freshman. He's pretty like, and I'm not trying, I mean, he's not like the quickest guy. I think that's the easiest way for me to say it. Now, before they had at left tackle, number 71, he would rotate in a lot. And then number 66, he rotated in a lot right here. You know, these guys on the inside, pretty decent. He's pretty good. He's pretty solid. He's okay. But their offensive line it flat out isn't great. So let's show you how this looks. Obviously, because they're spreading things out, the middle of the field is wide open with the way that Ole Miss is playing defense, okay? So Ole Miss runs a 3-3-5, but so does Tennessee. You know, it looks like a four-man front, but technically it is a 3-3-5. So here, okay, yeah, so it's basically like pull lead, and it's just like a quarterback, I guess like almost like a quarterback follow, quarterback power, whatever. But so yeah, that's the first play. Have to be able to tackle better. This one's a 1st and 10. I'd have to be able to tackle better. So boom, what we see here, this is 3-by-1. So you got a tight end there. Okay, you got the wide receiver right there that kind of spreading the field out, not super wide, just like normal splits. But the tight end is in line. This looks like this is maybe man coverage from Ole Miss. What I've noticed is that the teams that have had the most success versus Oklahoma, they're running cover one, like they're running different man zone concepts. Okay, if we're going to run man, we have got to add the zone concepts in it. And I saw it some last week. I've seen it some since Coach Banks has been here, but that's about the only way that I think that we can do it. The guys that aren't going to be great in man-to-man coverage, just let them play zone. Let them take away some of the weak spots, you know, versus, you know, in man versus this offense. So this is a slot fade right here. Okay, so this would be our star player. Talked about it, you know what I mean? That, you know, those stars have to be good. Now, this is much better coverage. So whenever I say, man, slot fade, it's hard to stop. This is what I mean. Like, this is good coverage, okay? He's not in a bad spot. But if it's perfectly executed, that doesn't matter, okay? Like, it doesn't matter really on almost any route, but especially on that one. I am a little bit concerned about our stars in this game. I think that we'll probably have to have some safety help over the top to try to offset that. But what Again, the teams who have had the most success versus Oklahoma, they're able to load the box up and play one high looks, especially man. But you're seeing here, all right, what is this, like a 6-man box? They got a safety kind of close to the box, right? All right, so what are they doing as far as blocking stuff? 18 right here. He's one of their bigger tight ends. I think he's like 6'4", maybe 245-ish. It's somewhere in that ballpark. But blocking the defensive end, any of our dadgum guys, okay, if you see a tight end out there, any of their tight ends out there, this should be a win. They shouldn't even slow you down. You should go straight through them. All right, these are all good players. So it's a lot easier said than done. This is their tackle. You see he's already starting to lose. But they're showing kind of like some run option or some run action up front. But this is quick. This is 3-step drop. Obviously, he's not taking 3 steps, but the timing of it is 3-step drop. So the pass rush really has no time to get there. We've got to be good in coverage. All right, so 2nd and 4 right here. And they're going, splitting things up. So this is 3-by-1. Still looks like they're showing some type of maybe man-to-man coverage, possibly some press up top. All right. Now, what are they going to do? Let's see. Okay, so they motion this running back out of the backfield, so it essentially turns into empty. Now, something that they do a lot of are screen and goals. You see these wide receivers, these little guys that we talked about earlier today. I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that, but they are smaller wide receivers. Fake like they're blocking. You got to try to come up to set the edge and try to make a play, but then they run the route. So watch this. Boom. Slot right here, he gets beat. Okay, so he's open. There's no, I mean, if you throw this football right, he's open. You see this cornerback's back is turned. He's looking over there. But this is a miss. Okay, so he's looking to the other side. Why? Because the pressure's getting there. That's why it is so important to have good pass rush. That's why. All right, so actually, I'm gonna pause this. Let me get into the chat. Let me make sure I'm not missing nothing. All right, so we got one right here from RRT Spiffy. Did you change your name, bro? But appreciate you for joining us, dog. So from Hub, he says that he's nervous about this game. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's perfectly normal to be nervous about some of these big-time ball games. For sure. We're not there to see how we look in practice, you know what I mean? And I know that there's just our defense hasn't played well. There's a thought. I think that the narrative out there is that our defense sucks. I don't think that our defense sucks. It's almost been like a perfect storm every time. But if we just do like the basic fundamental stuff right, which is extremely fixable, it's just up to the players to execute. If they do that, we'll still give some stuff up, but we will be significantly better. So I completely understand being nervous, but I do have a lot more confidence in this matchup. So either way, right, let's take a look at this offensive line and what they got going on. This is 6 there. That's the freshman running back. All right, so he's the one who's going to go out. They're bumping over. They're bringing, 3? And I've seen a whole lot of this where you just bring in 3, bring that stun and spying. You know what I mean? But the pressure's coming from that left tackle. All right, one-on-one blocking. I've also seen some teams try to go really, really wide. Hasn't worked versus their offensive line, so I hope that we don't do that. We typically don't do that. But going really wide is probably not the answer. So if you can get the pressure and force them away from the field, especially which the field, that's the wide side, force them away from the wide side where all of the threats are at, then you can force him into some bad plays. He doesn't do the best versus pressure. He's actually better versus the blitz. We talked about that with Taylor Green. Taylor Green and also Joey. They're both better versus the blitz. But I think part of that is going to be based off the offensive line for some teams. For other teams, it's going to be based off of their scheme. Like, what are the answers to the blitzes? And then for other teams, it's going to be some of both, right? Like, I think that Tennessee is kind of like that where, that if we can pick up blitzes pretty well, that's going to be a huge part of this game. This is a really good defense. I think it's the best defense that we faced so far this year. But, pick up the blitzes and then also have the answers. But this is a 2nd and 4. All right. So they're going 3-by-1 again. They love to go 3-by-1. It's really good versus pretty much everything. I don't know why more teams don't do that. Tennessee does too much to me, like even where it's 2-by-2. Man, put 3 guys up on one side because it's great versus zone coverage. And it's just tough to stop everything. But let's go ahead and let this thing roll. This looks like pre-snap cover 2, but it's not. Okay, so this play is crazy. So you see this running back, same thing that we just saw, I think, on the previous play. Empties out this backfield. We're going to have 2 guys playing at safety that bite on that. It's going to leave, I think, number 5 wide open down the field. It's actually a couple of, so wide open here, okay, wide open there. He's not wide open yet, but that's coming. But look, that could have been 6. This one is going to be 6. It's just in having your eyes right and knowing what you're doing, okay? This is, I think, more than likely, it's going to be on this guy. Why would you come from this side to follow him and not bump it down? That's just for me. I have no idea exactly, but it's got to be on him. Okay, like we don't need two people guarding that. But this is some of the things that they can do, right? Like this is the like scheme type stuff. And obviously, man, Five is a daggum burner, isn't he? I mean, he's a small guy, but I'm telling you, man, like they got some small receivers, but they're dogs. They are dogs. And we're gonna see it again from this copy. So what's going on? Because obviously the quarterback has the time, right? So look at that. Off that left side. Well, that's what happened. Off of this left side, he's gonna win to the inside, and this is our right side, but it's the offense's left. Wins to the inside, but he's gonna get tripped up. So this could have been a sack, at least a pressure. You can't fall down, and if you fall down, you got to get your butt up off the ground. The ground ain't your friend. So they're running stunts. A lot of that stuff looks pretty similar to what Tennessee does. As far as a spy, right here, I think 44 spying. You know what I mean? Have to do that. Have to mix that up. But people get lost in coverage. I'm not quite sure what that coverage was. Might have been man. But you know, you have to be smart. So Tennessee's got some young secondary players. You know, we got some young safeties. Can they figure it out? But if you watch the film, you'll be cognizant, and a lot of the stuff is just common sense. So this is a 1st and 10. They're going 3-by-1 again. Okay, almost. Some people call this 4-by-1 because of that running back, based off of the system and everything else. Okay, so it's a 6-man box, and they're gonna run right here. What looks to me like it could have been cover 6. Looks like cover 2 on this side. All right, so you can see the safety rolling over. Could also be cover 2, but this safety, he's just going to stay down because there's no threat. But just dump it off on this swing route. Is that what this is? Oh, okay, that's not even a dump off. That's a pitch. So if they can get to the edge, that's always a problem. Okay, this is that freshman running back. So they kind of fake like they're coming to the inside, pitch it to the outside here. Got to be disciplined. If you're an edge guy, which he's trying to be. But this is just, I think that we have better athletes, especially playing at Leo, than what Ole Miss has. As far as the sizes, I think that our guys are about, I think we have like about as much size as Ole Miss does up front. But one of the things that I will point out to y'all is I saw this last season, right? Because they played Georgia in the game prior to us playing them last season. And, you know, like their front just looked so dominant versus those guys, didn't they? And we just didn't, you know, about the same size, but they just, I don't know. It's like they just played stronger in this game. So either way, pitch coming to the outside, you see that they do a good job. Who is this that's blocking? They've got some good angles set up for these blocks. So wide receiver there. All right, so no, I'm sorry. This is a tight end. So this is number 18. He's blocking all the inside players. Okay, so you set up that wall. This guy does a good job of getting off a block. Can't get held. Can't get blocked. All right, cannot get held. Cannot get blocked. 1st and 10. Let me tap back into the chat real quick and see what people are talking about. So this one is from CTGG saying that T-Lander played a little better against Kentucky, but has consistently looked out of position all season. Yeah, and you know, it's like that old phrase, what have you done for me lately? That's the way that I look at this stuff. Because all these guys are going to be capable, every single one of them, or they wouldn't be playing on this level. They're all capable. So has he taken those steps? Yes, okay. Is it a different offensive system? Yes. Okay, but versus some of the similarities that we'll see where the linebackers have to play out in space, has he looked better there? I think that he did too. And I think that he'll be fun, but obviously he's a guy that you don't necessarily want him playing out in space as much. You want him playing inside of the box. I think that he can really help us out versus the run in this game, especially if it's coming right at us, which is going to be huge. So he's definitely going to be starting. I think that we all know that, but you know, we have to kind of like have a short memory, just like these players. They have to have a short memory. It's just about what's it looked like recently. Because I could say, well, you know, Tennessee's defensive line, they were dominant earlier, but for the past couple of games here recently, now, not so much. So I am in some ways concerned about our defensive front. But we know that they're capable. You know what I mean? Like we know that they can get it done. Can they flip that switch? I think that that's probably the bigger issue in this game than our linebackers. So this one also from RRT Spiffy saying that a few stops here and there is basically what we have been banking on. Yeah, you know, that's what we have been banking on. I don't know that this is a game. This is a game that I do think our defense has to step up even more. The reason that I'm saying it is because like I kind of like started this stream off with, they have a good defense. All right, I know that there is. I've seen it in some different places where people are saying, well, if you look at their defenses versus the offenses that they played, I mean, you know, whenever they play up against a good offense, they don't look as good. Boy, I think you could say that for anybody, right? But even still, which there's some truth to that, but I want to caution people to understand that that defense is going to put stress on us because they bring a lot of blitzes. If we don't have the proper answers to that, then the offense is going to be stagnant. Obviously, everything is predicated off of pressure and things like that. Now, does it mean that they are? I mean, I think that we can win. I can say, hey, their defense is really good. Probably, I think, going to be the best and maybe even like the toughest matchup that we've seen so far, and still think that we're going to win. I could say that, you know what, I think that our offense is also good, and it's going to be one of the toughest matchups that our defense has seen so far, and still feel like we're going to win. So it's not even so much about them being good or any of that, but the whole point here is I don't know that this is a game where just a few stops is going to be good enough. I really don't, because the offenses might get stopped more than it has previously. Okay, so the defense really does have to play well in this game. The next one right here, from the Invisible Rednecks saying GBO, go Vols. Thank y'all for joining us. Okay, so let's jump back into it. This is a 1st and 10. Still have several more plays. We'll still have a whole lot more plays. So this is a 2x2, but now they're motion things over. Okay, and this looks like this is inside zone. So they motion over that tight end as an insert. Inside zone, he kind of bounced it to the outside. We can see it better from this copy here. So 5 inside the box there, 5 blockers. But, you know, if you, I mean, you could have this running back be a lead blocker, then you got favorable numbers. That's the dangerous part with having, and now things have switched up, obviously, because you bring the tight end over, bring this linebacker over too. But that's the dangerous part. It's still really, it still ends up, it could end up being a positive numbers, favorable numbers for the offense because of the quarterback's legs. So tight end insert, all right, just inside zone. And watch this left tackle here. Watch him on this stunt. He gets pushed out of the way. This guy really could have made the play there. You know, he played it, start off at tackle, comes to the outside, the end crashes to the inside. And now they're just able to like wall some things off. So let's look at the second level. What the heck's going on here? So center gets straight up to the second level. He's uncovered. And now wide receiver coming to the inside. Okay. And good job by whoever this is, you know, secondary player of seeing, hey, this is a run. Can we do some of that? Good job by the safety, not getting blocked. All of this stuff, man. Like run defense is about the whole team. Football, period, bro. Like it's the whole daggum team. It's the players. It's the coaches. It's the other staff members. It's the daggum people handing out water. It's the trainers. It's the entire organization. It's the only sport that's really truly like that. So on this one, okay, what are they doing here? Weird formation. Really like it. They've got pretty much all of the people who can go out for routes on this side, outside of this running back, okay? So you can see that Ole Miss, they really tight down here, okay? So the cornerback becomes this edge player on this read option there, okay? Cornerback becomes that edge guy. We'll see it again from the end zone as well. But yeah, man, look, cornerbacks have to tackle better. Secondary players have to tackle better. I think that he's played better. So what's going on here? Okay, so this looks very similar to like what Tennessee does, right? 3-3-5, right? This is their like stand-up guy. That's their stand-up end, but he's technically playing at linebacker, right? That's about how things will look for us. Okay, so crashing down here. Coming to the inside, crashing down. Like I said, cornerback, boom. That's his job. Outside is now his job. All right, we're going to clamp it down good. Really nice job by that defensive end. Love to see that. He's going to take this true freshman and push his butt back and bump that running back, all right, slow his butt down. But look at this. You're seeing some movement here. Even though this defensive tackle, he's coming to the inside anyway, but he's really getting moved there. Where the hell are the linebackers at? What the hell are these linebackers doing? Good job there, but then he just kind of like gets washed out. But that's not terrible. That's about as well as you can play that. I mean, maybe could have played it a little bit better, but that's how things go. You know what I mean? They're going to do some things. They're going to be able to get some yards. It just is what it is. 2nd and 4 now. All right, so 2x2 with the tight end who just motioned over. So now 2x2. What's the look? Looks like they're playing cover 1. So man with the 1 high look right here with the safety. All right, so playing. But see, this is weird what they're doing here. So, okay, I think that this is man because see right here, man, right there, that's a man turn. This looks like this is man, okay? But then you've got this guy who's playing in a zone. All right, he's playing in a zone. He's watching for these crossing patterns. This is one of the crossing patterns. He's coming over on this crosser. That's not a shallow crosser. It's not really a deep crosser either. And then coming out of the backfield, he comes from the opposite side of the. Oh man, look at that. That's dangerous. So he's going to come from this right side of the offensive, of the offense, and then run like a wheel here. So this could be tricky because you might have this guy, if you're playing man, hey, this is your guy, right? But then he comes around to the other side. That can make it tricky for you. All right, so a good job by the backside backer of using his eyes, using his brain. Okay, hey, he's coming out, he's uncovered. Maybe it wasn't my guy pre-snap, let me go get him. Or maybe it was his guy, who knows? But it's like the little common sense elements of this whole deal. But this is gonna be, let me go back to the start of it, okay? I'm just gonna let it roll. But this is, I'm not quite sure if this is number 5 or this is number 4, but just a deep comeback, okay? So deep comeback, right? And we'll see it again from the other side. So they're showing like that sweep, but you know, then they kind of sprint out to the other side and get the isolation in coverage. So watch what this offensive line does. They're going to move that way. The defense has to move this way too, but also pay attention to these linebackers. What are they going to do? Move over some, boom, but then they fix it real quick. You have to move with this, right? Because this could be outside zone. You got to move over there. It's just a well-designed play. Just a well-designed play, yes. So that was number 4. They are tough. They'll make some tough catches. The quarterback, obviously, he's pretty good. 1st and 10. All right, 3 by 1. I'm going to pause it again. Let me check on the chat. See what all we got. Looks like we got a couple more coming in. All right, so Matt is saying, sup, boys? Dark mode, yeah, love it, bro. Appreciate you for joining us. So all week, Oklahoma got something coming to them, boys. Yeah, love that, bro. Love that, love that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is dark mode all week, especially for me. I am always happy to wear orange and black. Okay, so next play. Running back moves over to the other side. And what is the coverage here? Really like it, whatever it is. Looks like it's cover 2. Yep, so cover 2. So you got, I think, 2 deep safeties, okay? Flats here. Should be flats there. Yep, that's exactly what this is. Picked up well. I mean, look, they're covering things up well. Yeah, there's a few holes here. But notice that the holes are underneath. The holes are underneath. Maybe you could throw this, but kind of a tight window. The safety's in a spot that he can make a play on this football. Love that the cornerback carries things up the field. But they're really, okay, so you're running off things here. I think that they were looking for this dig or for one of these. I think they're looking for one of these. It's based off of the route concepts. All right, but things are pretty much covered up. Let's see it again from this other copy and see what the heck happened. Okay, so on this one, they're actually going kind of wide. It's not super wide. They're bumping over because this running back moves. All right, only bringing 3. Good job of this linebacker here. Really latching on that. But then look, as soon as linebacker or, you know, whatever 30 plays, probably backer, carries it over, end of his zone, like we talked about earlier today, ends his zone. So now I'm back to this. Maybe he's spying, but look at that pressure coming. Look at that pressure coming. Where's it coming from? 52, line up right over that center and just, I mean, sits him down, dog. Sits him down. Our guys can do this. 52 is not a huge, you know what I'm saying? We can do it. Can we set the edge too? So if you're only bringing 3, that's actually a pretty good job by 5 here, isn't it? I mean, you know, pretty good job of working to the outside. Really good athlete playing a quarterback. So tough to kind of get to him. So can be frustrating, but obviously that's an errant pass. Got to be able to disrupt. They disrupted with 3 rushers. Can we do that? Okay. That is a huge factor in any defense. So now they're overloading with that motion. So it turns into 3 by 1 once this motion comes over. You see the defense is also bumping down. I'm not quite sure what this coverage is. Could be 3. Could be 3. Could be some type of a 2 or whatever. But where are they throwing this? Okay, so he's moving out. He's going to dump it off to the flats. Come up. Look at that. Good sound tackle. I think that we can be in that same spot. Can we finish at the point of contact? Can we finish the daggum tackle? But they're overloading there. And they love doing this, where they're going to cut block you. So on some of these screens, they love to cut. And Ole Miss does a good job of being athletes up front. Man, look, I saw South Carolina, you know, they run this exact same play. South Carolina's defensive linemen, they're on the ground for like ever. I mean, get off of the ground. Be athletes. Part of the problem with South Carolina, as you can tell, there was a lot of lackadaisical effort. So maybe some of what, again, some of what people are saying is true, that they haven't really faced, especially like for their defense, haven't faced like the best competition. But some of that's true for their offense too. You know what I mean? Now, you know, obviously our defense hasn't been great from a stat standpoint, but if we play with high effort, high energy, if we do the small fundamental thing, I mean, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. This guy comes down unblocked. Look at that stride. I mean, he's humping, boom, boom. He's trying to get there. Perfect angle. I mean, inside out, splits this guy. Boom. Gorgeous. It's not hard to do. You know what I mean? It really ain't hard to do. All right, so 3rd and long. But we had to get a lot more play like that. So they got the cornerbacks playing tight. Now he backs off. This looks like this might turn into quarters, but it's 3 by 1, really tight right there inside of the slot area. You see that guy right there. He's just running a drag straight off of the line of scrimmage, and then they go slot fade. So slot fade right there. Okay, I think that their nickel guy, their star guy, pretty decent coverage. They might have called PI there. I'm not sure. Let's see it again. So they're showing mugs here. This is a single mug. Or yeah, so single mug. All right, and then he's gonna back off, and then he blitzes. Tennessee does that same thing. It's funny how copycat all this stuff is. It's almost like all these coaches go to the same clinics, because I've seen so much of that blitz from a lot of different teams this season, and it's worked almost every single time. So, which is crazy, because to me, like, whenever he's coming off, you could tell he's kind of like acting, right? But I mean, it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Really doesn't matter. Overload, 3-step drop. Give him some type of pressure off of this. It's not horrible, but it can impact the pass just a taste, just enough that, hey, incomplete. So it's always chess, not checkers. Okay, so 1st and 10 here. 3. Okay, no, this is not 3-by-1. This is 4 on this side. 4 on this side, maybe 4-by-1, right? Because of that running back. But it looks like they might be going manned up here. Got the cornerback tight to things. This is when I would like to see us trying to blitz there, maybe. But then if you blitz and if it doesn't get there, who's covering him, you know? Could be one of these backers. But either way, what's the play? Okay, so this is just a freaking, and that's probably why you might want to do that blitz. So this is almost like a triple option. So they try to run the quarterback off tackle, but then he still has the option if things break down to be able to pass it. He had a guy open. These types of things can worry you, for sure. It can most definitely worry you. All right, so love to see the defense talking there. All right, they got 12 in the backfield. 12 is really, you can see him there. I mean, that was actually a pretty good block. Watch him here. One of the things that I always look at, are you turning it down kind of? He didn't really turn it down, but you kind of turn it to the side, or are you going face first? Boom. You know, you revving up like a ram and then boom. That's the physicality that I look for. But that's still a pretty good job. But either way, all of the lanes are kind of like clogged up. Obviously, really wet field, so people are sliding and stuff, slipping and sliding. But you know, they leave a guy wide open right there, and because there's so much pressure, people are getting flustered. We're losing big time. It wasn't a horrible pass. Probably could have made the catch, but that's what happens, man. Pressure bust pipes. So this is a 3-by-1, and then they just run inside zone. Ooh, boy. Got to be able to tackle a lot better than that. You're going to take that one to the crib, man. That's a crib shot. So let's see what happens from the end zone copy here. Okay, so this is a mint front. Okay, mint front. All right, and that's 24. Like I said, 24 might be a problem. So there's where is the outside support here? There is none. They just block down. You don't ever want to be outflanked like this. You got this tackles outside of you. You got this tight ends outside of you. This is a freaking winning play from Jump Street. Got to get that fixed. And he didn't even run it there, which is insane. He just runs it right up the freaking middle. Pretty decent push by these guys. 56. I think he's going to get kind of like beat to the inside some. Not horrible. Holds up pretty well. But you got to be able to tackle, man. And then downfield blocking. That's 5. Small guy. Pretty good block. You know what I mean? So, yeah, 24 to me, that's the guy. I don't understand some of the like coaching, some of the movement that the coaches are doing, like, man, put in, and I hope that they keep on doing it, but yeah, some of that stuff doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so motioning over turns into 3-by-1, but it's just like a tight end insert and just inside zone again. Let's see what happens. And let me actually pause this real quick and check back on this chat. All right, give me a second. Let me get in here. Okay, so let me get back in here. Sorry, y'all. I missed a whole lot of them, but I am going to catch up. All right, so this one from my dog Coleman, from T. Coleman, saying that our defense better be ready. Every quarterback seems to turn into Tom Brady whenever they play us. You know, that is a fact. So yeah, we're gonna have to step up. This one is from White Boy Slick, saying, do you guys know if we lose to bad, or I'm sorry, not do we, but you guys know if we lose too bad, we're coming for Hypo, right? So I'm not sure who we are, bro. I'm not sure what fan base you're talking about. Y'all can come for Hypo. You know, I don't know if you're an Oklahoma fan. I'll be honest with you, though. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping, there's nothing that necessarily tells me that Hypo's going to leave, but I could see him maybe leaving for that job. I could, personally. I'm not trying to stir anything up. It's just how I feel about it personally. So don't take that and just run off with it. It's just how I see things. Hopefully I'm totally wrong on that. But yeah, we have to try to hold on to him. Like, we got to try to hold on to everybody, because I think we do have a good staff. So this one is from Chris Wu. He said that they have never been to kneeling at night about to get scary GBO. Love that type of energy. I think so too. All right, and so this one is saying that it's all good. We're not scared of the dark. All right, and this one from Charles saying that because they've never experienced this, and y'all is kind of like going back and forth. If mid-tier C, I understand throw, that was 6. I'm not quite sure what you're saying. If mid, oh, okay. I was like, you're calling him mid-tier. Good throw, that was 6. Okay, yeah. Got you, bro. Yeah. I actually think that he's, I think that he's pretty solid, but I did say earlier today I think that the backup might be better. Hope that y'all don't play him if you are an OU fan. Okay, so let me get back to it. So they're showing a pretty light box here. Okay, now he's coming on in. And that's a really good push on 54. So pushing 54 back, it must be coming from right here. Yeah, pushes him back. Center gets up to the second level. And then this guard does a good job here. This is 60 or 55 now. Guard doesn't, it's really not even on the guard. So this defensive tackle, he's just going to kind of come to the inside there, which is what you're asked to do. You hold him up and then you say, okay, he's coming to this gap. Let me come to the inside. But then there's no linebacker help anywhere. I don't know what the third level guys could possibly be doing. And then two, here, you got to close this down a lot more than that. So can our defensive ends push a true freshman back? Like I said, he's good as far as run blocking. Okay. He's not too great at anything else, but yeah, I mean, you have to be physically dominant. That's why, again, man, like we're seeing it with the front, it is so important to football, period. So this here, got the H back. They're showing a lot more power here. Okay, they're just getting downhill, inside zone, off of the play action. And they're trying to catch a sleep in man-to-man coverage here. That's a really nice route. Holding there, doesn't get called. All right, that's a really nice route. Look at this. Sets him up to the outside, comes back inside of him. That could be there. I mean, you got a lot of room to be able to throw this. Excuse me, that could most definitely be there. But because, quarterback didn't feel too comfortable with it because he's been getting pressured all day. Things haven't been open down the field all day long. Got to get to these guys early and often. So let's see it again. What the heck's going on here, right? So they're showing that run action. This is probably an RPO. I don't know if that was play action. I think that was an RPO. They have a really nice RPO game. It's a lot better than like what Alabama's was. But then, man, you got some great blocking. I mean, like, look at 4 out here, y'all blocking. Look at this block. Look at that. I mean, you got to be stronger than this. Come on down, son. Come on down. It's you. Come on down, baby. Like, you got to fit that up. I understand your safety still pass first, but there's no one down the field. Come on down. So hopefully Tennessee safeties will do this, right? But just to show you that it's stressful on everybody if there's a mobile quarterback. That was a really nice play by the offense. Okay? Let me get this on up out of here. Okay. So kind of like the same formation, just opposite side. Inside zone there. Wow, blocked that very well. Huge hole. Is that 24 again? Yeah, 24 to me. I think 24 is the guy, but also very well blocked. Now 18, like I talked about, he's more physical as far as like the blocking stuff. He's a little bit bigger. Really, oh man. But that's the way to blow him up though, right? This is your job. If they come here, boom, blow his butt up, knock him into the hole. Now look at this, getting pushed, what is that, 3-4 yards off the football. This is what we can't have. We saw a whole lot of that last week. Can't have that because now they're off to the races. Okay, I'm sorry. So that was a linebacker here. So linebacker drops into coverage. It just wasn't very well played. But this is why I always say, like with the mugs, you can run versus mugs a lot, like right up the middle. It's there. So yeah, I think that offensive line looked pretty good with the run block in there. So now this is I think this is the 2-point conversion. So they're going empty. This is why they're so good down there. They're going empty. They're not trying to go tight. I don't know why we don't do this. Like we got enough players out there, dog. Like go freaking empty. Rolls out to the right. And then so they missed on this, but they pretty much got it there. Something else that I really like that Tennessee showed some of last week. Down here, like I said, bro, you cannot go man. You can't play zero because if you do that, he comes to the inside, and now you've got 2 people that are picking off our inside guys versus him. And you've got someone that's chasing and they're trailing. You're not ever going to be able to stop that. You got to switch, bro. Like he's got to be hard flat all the time, especially whenever motion comes to him. Hard flat, like automatic, hard flat. You got to stay down here. And then the other people can pick the other stuff up easier. But also the middle of the field, got to be conscious with that. There's no reason to ever run cover 0. Which, look, they got 3 people playing in the middle here, okay? And then you got a guy playing inside of the flats. It's just common sense. So I don't like that Coach Banks hasn't done that over the course of the year. but I know that they've been watching it. Yeah, I know that they've been watching what Oklahoma likes to do. This can be very stressful with the quarterback that has those legs. And, you can also sneak some folks out late and, sneak them out backside. But, hey, we'll live with that. Make them have to do some, like, trickeration instead of just straight up, you know what I mean? We have no answers to it. So, running back moves over. Okay, we got 2-by-1. Tight ends down at the bottom. Another inside zone. Now they're starting to pick up that daggone running game. This is a big part of the reason that their offense looked better in the second half. The running game picked up in a major way. So tight end has to get outside of this. There's already going to be a lot of holes inside of this defense. Just based off of how they're lined up. You can down block pretty easy there. See that? Down block, boom, boom. They don't even run it there. They run right up the middle. What kind of push are they getting? I mean, 54 does a pretty decent job. Is this where 54 is? No, that's 54. Pretty decent job. Not a whole lot of movement. It was just there. So 3rd and 3 on this one. Still got a few more people coming off the field late. I also want for us to get our play calls into our defense a lot earlier. So defense won't be able to talk as much in this game because it's going to be loud. The game is at home. But all the passing threats are up top. Looks like another inside zone. We'll just kind of like let this thing roll. You see they're falling forward. Okay, so get him on up out of there. 9-6 comes in, tries to figure out what the heck's going on. 6 is letting them know. Okay, moving over. All right, strong right. Shift some stuff. You got to come down. Great job by 96 coming in. Look at what he does here. This is what, look at this. Boom. Back him up. Love it. Back him up, and then it makes it a lot easier on these backers. Okay, boom. Everyone hold up. So you're just holding on to your gaps. You're going to give up some yards, but really nice job by that defensive line, especially number 96, I think, personally. So 3-by-1, the 3 is to the field down at the bottom. The 1 is up top to the boundary. And we're only bringing 4 here. Middle of the field is wide open on this. This is number 12. Look at that route. He's wide open right there. What is this, cover 3? Looks like cover 3. Okay, so he bails out. Okay, yeah, so cover 3. And I don't know why he threw this. He's not nowhere near being open, but throws it up top. I mean, he was covered up pretty well. Okay. So, this is kind of like spreading it out, and obviously, like, they will utilize seams, not as much as Arkansas, but they will utilize seams. Have to be conscious of it. But, I think he's just, hey, I want to go to my guy. I want to go to what I feel like is the easiest thing pre-snap. They're showing a 2-deep look on defense. Ooh, boy, middle of the field came wide open again. I think that this might be, I don't know what this coverage is. This might be cover 2. Okay, so cover 2, he just locks up there. He's locking up there. But everything down the field, you see how vertical all this stuff is? So, boom, middle of the field could have been open here. I think he came from out of the backfield. Where's he coming from? Yeah, so he's coming from right here, okay? On this, like, rail. Actually turns into, like, a seam here. Okay, so seam. This actually turns into, like, 3 verts on this side. So he's going to the inside on this post. He's going vertical there. He's going vertical there. Really good route concept versus cover 2 for sure. But it could also be really good versus cover 3. Now, like, that can beat a whole lot of stuff. The problem is they don't have any outlets. The outlets to the opposite side, which I think is dumb. But hopefully they do that versus us because the quarterback's never going to look over there. Like, you're telling him, hey, look to the field side where everybody's at. And then, you have to come back to the other side now and see, is he covered up? If he's not, you're taking a sack. But good job on getting the pressure from up front. Okay, only bringing 3, spine with the defensive end. Man, you got to have some dudes to be able to do that. Where's that pressure coming from? Who is this? Getting double teamed here, fighting through a double team? Sheesh, dude. My goodness. I mean, just being a freaking man about it. I love that. So here, great job also setting the edge. Fight upfield. And now, can we finish on a tackle? Finally, finally make it happen. But he can make you miss inside of a phone booth in certain situations, in those types of situations. But yeah, I mean, that's just all predicated off of, hey, we started the game off getting the pressure, and now the quarterback's got happy feet. Now he's seeing ghosts. Now he's not going through, like, reading the whole field. And that's why, again, the front is so important. Looks like the same play here. Looks like on defense, the exact same play, different play coming from the offense. You see these crossing routes. So let me show you on these crossers here. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is like a mesh concept where they're going to cross. I'm sorry, wrong guy that I pointed out. It's going to be him coming and then him coming, right? So they're about to cross. Okay, boom, and then he's going to sit it down right in between them. But you can pick off if you're running man. This guy's wide open. There's no one even thinking about covering him. Like, there's no one even thinking about, like, that whole right side of the field is totally wide open. So this does scare you some, So if it comes to the game on Saturday and there's people running open and they happen to hit on it, just understand that that happens all the time. It's just about where we getting the pressure to make him feel like, well, I can't read the whole field. If not, it's going to be a very, very long day. So much better job as far as the pass rush. I mean, as far as the pass protection, I think that these guys are starting to get tired. They're not fighting as hard. So I think that might be part of it. But we have a lot of guys up front that we can rotate in. I don't know if they called pass interference on defense or not there, but we're getting close to the end. This is 3-by-1 tight end. It's right here. Running back moves over. They're showing a 2-deep look. It's not going to be too deep. I could tell that off the rip. Probably cover 3 or cover 1 maybe. Yeah, that was some type of a zone. But then just, inside zone blocking, run right up the middle. They're getting a whole lot of yards. I think that Ole Miss was really starting to get gas, which is crazy. All right, so now they're going wide. Now you see how wide everything is on the defensive line? There's a rhyme and a reason to why they're doing it. How's the blocking look? Down block there, look at all that movement. That looked like us last week. They're able to down block because of the angles, down block. He already comes inside anyway. Good job by the linebacker of being close to the line of scrimmage, getting here to the gap quick. Good job by the end, closing that gap down. Good job by whoever this is, maintaining the outside leverage in case quarterback keeps it on a boot or whatever. So very well played outside of you have to finish. Hopefully Tennessee can do those types of things. But it's not going to be perfect. You just got to get to your run fits. 3rd and 5. Let me pause this and get back to the chat because I know we're starting to get close to the end, but let me get back to what y'all talking about. All right, so he's a fan of OU. He also says that he's not talking crap. Hey, it's all good. All right, so this one from Aaron Duck is saying that not getting hypo, but Mark Stoops will be available soon. That would be funny. All right, so the running game started working, and Arbuckle, who's the offensive coordinator, he stopped doing it. Yeah, I'm hoping that he does that versus us. I'm hoping that he gets away from y'all's running game because the running game, if that's going, obviously everything works off of that. It's really tough to stop if Oklahoma can run the football on you. But now they're going 3-by-1. Okay, going out to the flats there, you're seeing that people are following out there because it could be a screen. And they're playing man coverage here. Man, okay. He's playing man right there. Sticks with this guy. He's playing over the top, so cover 1. Everything's picked up. So doing a really good job from this standpoint of, look, pressing here. This is what I think Tennessee needs to do, y'all. Our stars don't need to press. Don't press them. Let the cornerbacks press. Okay? Our cornerbacks are better versus the press. So if our stars can play off, they have a better opportunity to make some things happen, especially if we've got things like this where, hey, we're spying or we're playing this middle zone. It's a lot tighter window, and you see we can pick up on coverage a lot better. So really tight windows down the field, and that's how things should look. They're going super wide there, right? So middle of the defensive line wide open. Okay, so now he shifts over, or he goes out to motion. Other things are shifting over, really only bringing 3, but then keeping that defensive end out there to spy on the side where there's the most threats at. Makes a lot of sense to me. It's just common sense stuff. Now, the nickel player still is playing off, and this is their answer to it, which they didn't throw it here, but he's wide open on this whip route, wide open, okay? Which even playing press, very hard to stop that, but he was open, covered up here with a guy over the top. Just really poor reads from the quarterback there, but there were some people open. All right, so we'll see it again. They're not showing a whole bunch of pressure. Still spying. Let's just make sure that we contain and spy. So just like a few more plays, y'all, this is 4th and 2. Really deep, showing a 2-deep look. Okay. And then they just go to some quick game stuff, right? Quick game stuff. They're running cover 2. The middle's going to be there. They're pretty much giving it to you. Take what's there. Just like basic operational football. So 3 up front, only 2 come. Crazy. Crazy to drop 9. All right. I don't know that Tennessee will ever do that, but it is possible. Now you're seeing it's a totally different ball game. We got 3 deep, probably going to end up being 4 deep. And there's really nothing going on down the field. So really, at this point, things are done. But we'll let this end zone copy play out, just because this is not like regular operational stuff. This is desperation mode. This is 100% desperation mode. It's always crazy to me that people can get pressure only bringing 2 or bringing 3. But that's just the way that things go. So let me get to some more of these. All right, so right there saying facts. Slick is saying go Big Orange. Yes, sir. Go Vols. And this went from White Boy Slick saying, hey, where did I play? thank you for that. Yeah, so I played at SUNY Albany, and my brother who's on the channel with me, he played at Vanderbilt. So I mean, we've been following football obviously since we've been born. Like we're a big time sports family, big time football family. But thank you for saying that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Wanted to get people's thoughts and all that on this matchup. It is a good offense. It's a really good defense for Oklahoma. It's not going to be an easy test. It's not going to be like an easy, I guess, like matchup for us. We have to do some things very well. But I would almost say, obviously, there's a lot of pressure on our defense, just especially with how the public looks at our defense. But I think that really the real kind of like X's and O's chess match that's going to be the most difficult is on the offensive end. You got to find a way to be able to pick up all those different blitzers and all that. That's not going to be easy. So hopefully you will have that figured out. But that's pretty much it for me, man. We will be back tomorrow. We're going to go through how I see this game playing out. And then on Wednesday night, we will be going live for the midweek chat. Hopefully, Ruck from Straight Up Tennessee is going to be able to join us. Always love his insights. It's been like a couple of weeks since we've done that, but we will be back. Hopefully, J-Pat and also Timmy G, they can join us. But mainly, man, we want to hear from y'all. So Oklahoma fans, Tennessee fans, everybody's welcome. We're just going to be talking ball. We'll probably start close to 7:30, and we will at least go through the first injury list that comes out. All right. And if y'all are curious about the injuries for Tennessee, you can go join us on Patreon. We tell you what's going on at this point, but we won't talk about it publicly. But with all that being said, y'all, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will be back tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.